Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Little Dynamite Knitting Podcast. My name is Sarah. I live outside of Philadelphia with my husband Brent and our 3 cats, Gustav, Gracie, and Gertie. But I am not there right now. We are on our annual, let me get out of the way. Look at that. We're on our annual Creek House trip that we take every October. This is actually our 5th year doing this. Back in 2020, after every trip that we had planned for the year was canceled when the world shut down, I went on Airbnb in Verbo and just started searching for waterfront, lake house, Poconos, secluded, because we still did not want to be near anyone. But we also were just very tired of our house, like everyone was. And we found this creek house up in the Poconos and booked it. I think we did 4 or 5 nights, and maybe 5 nights that first year. We were both working from home, so we brought our work computers with us, and we did work a couple days of that trip. And we just completely fell in love with this space. And so this is now our 5th year here. We come up every October for my birthday. Our Airbnb hosts, April and Eric, they are the best Airbnb hosts you could ever have. And it has just become something we look forward to every year. And so this house actually sits along a creek and is perfectly situated on the corner where the creek kind of goes around the corner. So you're on the water on 2 sides. So, and behind me is the fire pit area. We spend every night there. We also do morning fires in the morning with our coffee. And then let me swivel this around. So that's the deck off the back of the house, and the river continues along the side of the house. Let's see. So I'm doing this from the Creek House, and so I know my podcasts already are very minimally edited to begin with. This one is not going to be edited at all, so hopefully it goes well. I don't know what I'm going to do for a thumbnail yet, and show notes will not be completed until I'm back home at a computer this week. So I will get show notes up. I will put things in the description box like I always do, but that's not going to happen when the video is uploaded. Those are going to come in a few days. But I'll just show you. This is a picture from the side of the house off the deck. I mean, you are literally on the water. And the main living space of the house is just a wall of glass windows. So you see it from inside. You can also hear it. You can probably hear the water a little bit behind me. I did check the sound and I could hear myself fine. So hopefully you can hear me. But we've just been doing a lot of relaxing. I've been doing a lot of knitting. We had an absolute treat, and we're here for the Northern Lights show a couple nights ago, and it was incredible up here. The darkness really led to a spectacular amount of color in the sky. It was so cool. I've seen the Northern Lights once before in Iceland, but it wasn't as intense a show as this was. So, and Brent had never seen them. So to see them here in one of our favorite places ever is really special. So, what else? Let's see. I have notes here for my life updates. So today is, I forgot to mention, today is Sunday, October 13th. And the last time I podcasted was actually September 1st. Oh, here comes a car. Okay. So the last time I recorded was September 1st, so it's been over a month, which I don't love. My goal is really at least once a month. So I was doing pretty okay with that until this most recent. But it's been a very busy month. Some highlights are I am now 43. My birthday was, what's today? The 13th. My birthday's October 7th. I was born in 1981. What day was that? Monday. So almost a full week ago, I turned 43. And I'm fine with that number. I am every additional year that I get, I'm very grateful for. Without going into too much detail, both my father and my sister died of cancer in their 30s. My dad was 36. I was 7 years old when he died. And then my sister was only 33 when she died, almost 9 years ago. So losing them both when they were so young and in their 30s, when I turned 40, I mean, I was really grateful. There was not a small part of me. There was a not so small part of me that did genuinely worry that I might not make it to that age. So, not trying to bring the mood of this down, but it is a big part of my life, and I a big part of why I do get so excited about my birthday and each passing year. So I'm 43, and it's good. It's good. I had a good birthday. It's been a good week, and being here just, is the best. What else? We went down to Baltimore to see Springsteen one more time. So we saw Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band at Orioles Park at Camden Yards. Another great show. We went up to Citi Field in New York. Okay. We're going to talk about baseball for a minute. Okay. So if I haven't mentioned it already, I am a huge Phillies fan. I love baseball so much. If you're not aware, we had the second best record in the National League, but weren't playing so great for the second half of the season. We did get automatically advanced to the NLDS, so we had that bye, that like 5-day break while the wild card teams played. And then the Mets, the Mets, beat us 3-1 in the division series. So, back in September, Brett and I went up to Citi Field and actually watched the Phillies play there at the end of the season. They lost that game. I am not in a place where I can say I'm happy for the Mets right now, but I can say that is a great ballpark. Like, if you ever have the chance to see a game at Citi Field, it's a great ballpark. It's the fan base is the closest I've ever seen to rivaling the excitement and the energy of a postseason or regular season game in Philly at Citizens Bank Park. Their fans were loud. They were into it. They were excited. But go Dodgers. I hope you sweep the Mets in 4 games and that the Mets lose in their home ballpark. Moving on. I traveled a little bit. I was in Philly for the Philly School Fair, and then I went up to Connecticut to Mohegan Sun for a work conference. Mohegan Sun was awesome. I kept just texting Brent, like, I wish you were here. We would have so much fun here. So we might go up for spring break and do Mohegan Sun in Connecticut and then Rhode Island, because we love Rhode Island. I got a lash lift, guys. I don't know if you can see that. I know you can't see my eyebrows because I'm way overdue for a brow wax and tint. But I got a lash lift and tint a few weeks ago, and I'm not wearing mascara at all, which is pretty exciting because I hate wearing mascara and I hate putting it on. But without it, my eyes look kind of dead. So, so far, loving it. We'll see how long it lasts. I think that's it for life updates. So Brent is actually watching the Eagles game right now. And I'm outside recording this. I am wearing an Oslo hat mohair edition, which I knit with Woolberry Yarn Co. Or Woolberry Fiber Co. A skein of Berry Natural, which is non-superwash fingering, and then a skein of Berry Surrey in the colorway, I think, Grove. So held those together. If you're not familiar with this hat, you you knit the brim, and then you do a provisional cast on. You knit the brim, you fold it up, you knit it together, and then turn it around, and you keep going. But it's a great slouchy hat, and I love it. All right, so let's talk knitting. Finished objects. I don't have many, and some of them I've already talked about, but I have photos to share. So I had been sample knitting the Amber Socks by Vera Valimaki and the Hibernation House Socks by Lindsay Fowler for Paisley Knits. So Coley of Paisley Knits is a Canadian yarn dyer. She lives out in the Pacific Northwest, in the, I think, Vancouver area in Canada. She released her most incredible collection to date. She released her Eras collection, Coley's version. Let me see if I can actually go on Instagram real quick and find her. So she released this incredible collection. It's already closed. It was a big pre-order. But just here are some of the colors. I mean, look at that. Oh, look at those colors. Huge collection, so many colors. And so I got to sample knit 2 pairs of socks. The Amber socks were in 2 of the green colorways, and the Hibernation House socks were in 2 of the like maroon reddish colorways. So she sent me pictures of herself wearing them, of the finished socks. So here are the Amber socks, looking fantastic, if I do say so. And here are the Hibernation House socks. That's the photo that I took at home before I mailed them back to her. And here is her wearing them. So great projects. Coley was fantastic to work with. She gave me the most incredible feedback. She said in all the sample knit socks that she's gotten back, that the ones I made her fit her the best. We actually do both have the same size foot. So that was pretty awesome. I'm so glad that they worked out so well for her, and so happy that the collection was such a success for her. I ordered, I used my compensation for the sample knitting and then paid for the rest of my order. I got 8 skeins of, not Champagne Problems. What colorway did I get? Cornelia Street. It's like this great, here I'll show you, this great gray. So I got 8 skeins of that on the new Albatross DK base, which is that squishy 2-ply DK. It's a new base. I haven't felt it, but it sounds amazing, and so I will knit some sort of sweater with that. Other finished objects. I already talked about the socks that I knit for Cora and Reese and Hattie, my friends' triplets. but I hadn't been able to give them to them. So the only photos I had were just of them. I couldn't even put them on my sock blockers because my sock blockers were too big for these socks. The girls are 7. So, but I was able to give them to them and able to get a picture of them wearing their socks. So there are their socks. So Hattie got the purple. That's the Ursula sock set from Long Dog Yarn. Reese got the summer She Sells Seashells by Long Dog Yarn. And Cora picked out puff sleeves from the Anne of Green Gables Yarn Club from Woolberry. So they fit them really well. They all loved them, so that was great. It was so cool to finally be able to give them their socks. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. And then my other finished object is not really an object, but y'all are going to be proud of me. Hold, please. Okay, first of all, I brought for this trip all of my knitting in my newest Tanny Casey bag. I got this bag at, what was it called? Yarn Centric down in Frederick, Maryland, the weekend of Frederick Fiber Festival. It is huge, me for reference. Huge big bag, has pockets inside, lots of room, and all of the knitting I brought with me for this, for our time at the Creek House is in here. So, I brought up 2 skeins of the yarn I have for Brent's cardigan. So I'm going to be making him the rough edges cardigan, which, where's my iPad? I'll show you real quick. So this is the cardigan that Brent picked out, and it's beautiful. It is a worsted weight cardigan, mostly stockinette, but with seed stitch accents and trim or borders. What is that called in clothing? Hems and cuffs, hems, collars. There we go. It is a pieced and seamed garment, so that's going to be an adventure. But I am knitting his out of, he picked Barocco Ultra Wool, so nice and wallet friendly. Good job, babe. In the color 33108. I feel like that does have a color name, but I'm not remembering it. So I have 10 skeins of this. I brought 2 of them up with me on the trip, thinking that I'd swatch and then I'd start the sweater, because I brought 3 different sizes of needles, depending on what my swatch came out to. And then I remembered that to properly swatch, you have to actually wash, soak, and block your swatches, which I was not doing up here. 1, because I don't have any wool wash with me, and 2, sometimes there's sulfur in the water here, like you can smell it sometimes, and I just didn't want to put my wool in that. But I did knit 2 swatches. So the first one is my stockinette swatch, and which side is my cast on and which, okay, so this is my stockinette swatch, and I did this on a size 7. So this is superwash yarn, so I'm gonna have to see how much it grows after I block it. But Brent really likes this fabric, so I think regardless of how big the swatch ends up being, I am going to use, I did this on a US size 7, so I am probably going to use a US size 7 and then maybe adjust the size that I knit for him depending on what my final gauge ends up being. So I did my stockinette gauge, and then I did my seed stitch gauge this is 30 rows if you can believe it. This is done on, I used a US 5 for this. So the pattern calls for a US 7 and a US 5. This feels really tight to me. So I may go up to a 6 for this, but again, I'll see how it blocks. I think I'm pretty close stitch gauge, but I don't think I'm close on row gauge. So maybe a pair of size 6 would help with that. I don't know. We'll see. So when we get home tomorrow, I will soak these, block them, and go from there. But I'm really excited to start his sweater. That's it for finished objects. So let's talk whips. I technically have 5 whips, but only 3 of them. That's not true. Okay, I have more than 5 whips, but one of them is that elephant that is done except for being seamed together, because I don't know how to seam 3D objects. So my friend Allie is coming over later this month. We're gonna hang out and have a knit night, and so I'm hoping she can help me with that. But not counting that, and not counting my shift cow, which I still need to seam, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like active kind of whips. One is my anthology throw. Again, that's just I reach for that whenever I don't feel like knitting something else. That's just going to be, that gets finished whenever it gets finished. I'm using fingering weight scraps for that, so that just sits by my knitting chair. I have a pair of vanilla socks. I mean, they're a 3x1 rib. I rarely just knit a completely stockinette sock, but I do have a pair of socks in progress using a sock set from Red Door Fiber. I have shown those before. I'm only like this much into the first sock. That might be my project that I take to Rhinebeck next weekend. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. My pressed flowers cowl is in the same exact state it was when I showed it back in September, and that is it's all knit. I just need to bind off and seam it together, or no, bind off, block it, and then seam it together. There's a pattern here. I don't finish seamed projects apparently, which is great since I'm about to knit my husband a huge seamed cardigan. I've got to get my butt in gear and just get over it. So that brings me to my actual active whips. The first is a test knit. Do I have any business signing up for a test knit when I'm trying to get these cardigans done for myself and Brent? Probably not. But after I knit the amber socks for Paisley Knits, I was really, really loving the feeling of a pair of socks with a lace weight yarn held. Now the amber socks are DK weight yarn held with a lace weight yarn, so they're pretty thick. I wanted to do fingering weight with a strand of lace weight held with it. Then my favorite sock designer, Carly Perrins of Northwoods Knit Co., put out a test call for her new sock collection. They're called the Homestead socks, and they have been released. And today is the last day if you want to order them and get a discount. She has a discount code. So let me find them. Like, I feel like I'm like so low tech right now as I talk to an iPhone and hold an iPad in my hand, but like this no editing thing is it's tricky. All right, so this is the new Homestead sock collection. Let me see that. Let me go this way. There we go. Now, I think all 3 of these socks have cables. I will share a secret with you. Oh no, the sun is coming in. No. I don't love knitting cables, especially in socks. However, One of the patterns in the collection, they are called the sourdough socks. They just feature a big chunky cable that goes up the center of the sock, and it's a 12-row repeat. So I think for what I did, I only had to do the actual cable part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 9 times total for the whole sock. And they're DK weight socks. So, you know, chunky cable, DK weight. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can make myself a fuzzy pair of chunky cable slipper socks. And that's what I did. So this is the first one, which I finished by the deadline for the test knit, and it was knit one sock. Usually I try to finish both socks by the end of the test knit, but I got distracted by my new cast on, which I'll share next. So I know the lace weight makes the cable harder to see, but oh, it's actually showing up pretty good on the video. So in my next episode, I'll actually put these on sock blockers and show them off properly. But I did not do a contrast color. I just did all my main color, holding those two strands together. And then the second sock in my favorite little Woolens and Nosh bag is almost done. The whole sock is done except for the cuff. So I just need to do the cuff. And here is where I was before yesterday when I picked these up again. So I did from here all the way to there since yesterday. The yarn I'm using is Explorer Knits. 1 skein of Denali sock. That is her 80/20 superwash merino nylon base. 2-ply, which I love, in the color Balsamico. And then the lace weight that I'm using is her Surrey alpaca lace, which is 74% baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk, 328 yards for 50 grams. So it is that like thicker of the Surrey yarn bases. Some dyers have switched to the more true lace weight Surrey, but she uses this, and it's knitting up really well. So this is the colorway Midwinter, which was part of one of her winter solstice collections. It's actually a variegated colorway, but the non-superwash, it really turns it into like more like a watercolor effect. So I'm holding these two together, and it's giving me this. The first one I tried on, it fits me perfectly, and they're non-superwash, so they're not gonna like grow when I block them. Where did I put it? It's on the ground. Okay. If I were editing this, maybe that would come out and be a blooper at the end. So these are the sourdough socks from the Homestead Sock Collection. Carly Perrins, Northwood Knit Co. Last day to get a discount. Her pattern collections are great because you get all three sock patterns in the collection, and she does all her patterns both toe up and cuff down. So you can purchase either the toe up collection, or you can purchase the cuff down collection, or you can purchase both. Why not? I am a toe up girl for life, and she does a gusset and heel flap construction in her toe up socks that is brilliant and seamless, and not even a hint of a gap that you have to worry about. And it's the only way I knit socks now, unless I'm doing a Flegel heel. That's the other one I do, but I don't do afterthought heels. Did it once, will never do it again. Just hate the way they look and feel and fit, and don't like doing them. I've never tried a shadow wrap. I've never tried the fish lips kiss heel, because what I'm doing right now works for both me, works for Brent. Who else do I knit socks for? My mom. and the triplets. So no need to fix it because nothing's broke. Sorry. All right, my next whip, or my final whip, the one I'm most excited about. I cast on for my big cozy Cardi. So originally this was going to be, well, hold on. First I'll show you the pattern. This is an Andrea Mallory pattern. And I got the yarn for mine at Rhinebeck last year. I got them from the Fiber Festival that we do not speak of. Le Garçon and Wolcott Yarns were sharing a, if you can call it a booth, a space at the bottom of these stairs. And so I got 5 skeins of this Opus yarn. The colorway is Hickory. And I got 3 skeins of the Fluff, which is a collaboration between Le Garçon and Wolcott Yarns. That colorway is Goldenrod. So I did not swatch for this, but it's an oversized cardigan, so I feel okay about that for now. We'll see. This project is in my Madder Root bag that I adore. I'm hoping to get another one of these next weekend at New York State Sheep and Wool. As great as the outside is, when you open it up and you fold over the inside, there are ferns and there's pockets, and I love this bag. This pattern is quickly going to outgrow this bag, and then I'll have to put it in the big Tanny Casey like bucket bag. But this is the perfect shawl project bag. Like a 2 to 3 skein. I think this is the medium size. Maybe I'll get a big one. I think they make bigger ones. Maybe I'll do that. So here's what I have so far. For my size that I'm making, which is the largest size, I had to cast on 335 stitches. So here's what I have so far. So you cast on 335 stitches. It's a textured stitch pattern, and you just repeat those rows for 30 inches. Like that's so I think I'm at like 11 or 12 inches maybe. Let's do a close-up of this. This is the Sheepy from Hello Lavender. It's the Flock logo sheep. Got that from Hello Lavender at Flock Fiber Festival back in August. So this is where I was when we came up to the Creek House. And so that's how much I've done since we've been here. It's 335 stitches, and it's a textured stitch pattern. So it takes a little chunk of time to get through each row. So I think that's good. I did put, and I would recommend this to anyone knitting this, I put 3 stitch markers marking each set of 100 stitches. So I have like built-in landmarks to just make sure I'm on the right knit or purl when I get to them. The pattern is easy to memorize, and I know what I should be doing when I get to the stitch marker for each row. And I did that because you can see it a tiny bit here, and there's one here. I got off on my stitch count. I don't know how, but I had these 2 spots that it was looking pretty obvious. So I actually laddered down, and I didn't fix every row because when I tried to fix the rows that go between the knits and purls, it actually looked worse. It stretched the yarn too much. So I only fixed the knit columns. And I think when I block it, it'll help smooth it out even more. So this is also going to be like down behind my butt. So if, if people are looking that close, that's on them. But yeah, so the yarn feels really good. Like I'm like really excited to get to wear this because it's super, super cozy. The base, so this is the Opus yarn, 70% Argentinian merino, 30% baby alpaca, 384 yards for 100 grams. So it is a sport almost fingering, right? Yeah, not quite fingering. Well, yeah, definitely not quite fingering. I think it's called a sport weight. And I don't have the fluff with me because I didn't bring it because I'm nowhere near that part of the pattern. So I think that's it. I think that's it for my whips. But they're big ones. They're big, exciting ones. So I will finish that second sock today. I want to take some photos of the socks before the sun sets and get a post up on Instagram. And then when we get home, it'll be time to cast on Brent's cardigan. So, acquisitions. I'm not going to show acquisitions because I'm not at home with them. So I will show them next episode, which will also include Rhinebeck acquisitions. So hopefully it won't be too much. No promises. Future plans. So the rough edges cardigan for Brent. And actually, the next socks I'm going to be making. The last 2 years, I've made my mom a pair of socks and given them to her for Christmas. So I just call them her Christmas socks. So last year I did these for her with the December sock set from La Mercerizier's socks. Those were dyed by Little Acorn yarn. The year before that, I made her a pair of the Bear Paw socks by Andrea Mallory, holding 2 skeins of woolberry fingering together. Those colors are from the Anne of Green Gables sock set club, Raspberry Cordial and Idle Wild. So this year, I'm going to make her a pair with another woolberry sock set. I have these colors, again, like kind of red, kind of green, but not really. So a little bit more not in your face Christmas. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I have sparkly red and green yarn from Long Dog yarn at home that I can't wait to use for Christmas socks for myself. But that's what, hold on. This is what it looks like wound up. So I think that'll be real pretty. So those will be for my mom. And then Brent's mom came over not long ago and asked me to make a pair of socks for her husband, Mark, my father-in-law. So, and she picked out this sock set from Woolberry. It is the Cove sock set, I think from her Coastal collection. So that'll be fun. So between now and the end of the year, I am hoping to knit Brent's cardigan, my cardigan, 2 pairs of socks, another item for Brent that I'm not going to talk about on here because he watches this. And then I'm like, do I want to join the Badass Brioche cow that Needles at the Ready and Skein Scoop, 2 of my favorite podcasts, that they're hosting? I recently ordered 2 skeins of yarn from Red Door Fiber. She had extras for her Q3. What's the name of her club? I don't remember. I'll talk more about it next time when I share acquisitions. The colors were so gorgeous and she had leftovers. And before I could think twice, I ordered a skein of the variegated and a skein of the tonal. And I think they would look really pretty in brioche. The Badass Brioche Cow, the pattern, I believe it's a shawl. It's a 2-color shawl, 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. And I think it's called All About That Brioche. I think. But if I'm trying to finish these cardigans, I don't know if it's a good idea to cast on a shawl. But then I'm like, but shouldn't I have like a little palette cleanser project going for when I need a break from the cardigans? But then maybe that's what the 2 pairs of socks will be. So I don't know. We'll see. Next weekend is Rhinebeck weekend. If you're not familiar, Rhinebeck is a town in upstate New York, up in the Catskills along the Hudson River. And there are several events that happen over the course of the weekend, starting on Friday. Actually, I think there's even some stuff on Thursday. But the main event is the 2-day New York State Sheep and Wool Festival on Saturday and Sunday. The timing is not super great for me personally. Not that they care, because we come to the Creek House every October. So we're going to get home tomorrow, Monday, and then I'm going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then get in my car after work on Thursday and drive up to New York. And there meet my dear, dear, dear friend Gretchen. We went to Rhinebeck. We did Rhinebeck weekend together last year. This year, she is bringing her wife, Marjorie, and their 2 boys, Felix and Hugo. So it's going to be a fun family getaway. I consider myself an honorary member of their little family. So Gretchen and I on Friday are going to go to Indy Untangled. We are going to the first time. I think it's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's where we'll be then. And then that evening, we're going to the Woolen Affair party. No shopping in the evening, just chilling, live music, I think a bar, some light bites maybe, and just knitting and being on a farm with lots of cool crafters. Really excited for that event. Was bummed that I didn't even know about it last year. So excited for that. And then on Saturday, and so MJ and the boys, I don't know what they're doing Friday, but they're gonna hang out. And then on Saturday, we're all going to the Dutchess Fairgrounds for New York State Sheep and Wool, because MJ and the boys can have fun with the animals and going in the livestock barns and the alpaca parades and eating all the yummy food. I'm hoping to get some Brussels sprouts this year because I've heard they're amazing. I've never bought food at Rhinebeck because standing in the lines is okay. Like my mind is like, there's no squirrels, but I feel like squirrel. My back lately has been awful. I have a bulging disc between my L4 and my L5. It is impinging the root of a nerve, and I can stand or walk for maybe 5 minutes before it starts screaming. The longer I stay on my feet, the tighter everything gets, and then eventually both my legs just go numb. So I'm really I'm so excited for Rhinebeck weekend, but I'm also like really nervous. I might go on Amazon and order one of those like walking sticks that has a seat that folds out from it, so that if I need to sit, because once I sit, the pain doesn't go away immediately, but it relieves it. Like the only thing that relieves the pain when it starts like really screaming is to sit down or lay down. I've done injections. I've done physical therapy. I've done acupuncture. I've done chiropractor. Nothing has really helped. That's kind of where I am. I'm trying to avoid surgery, but it's become quite a hindrance to my life. So, and it causes me great concern when I have events like this where I know I'm going to be on my feet for a long time. So, all that to being said, I'm going to just prepare the best I can, take breaks when I need to. I am looking forward to seeing a lot of people again that I just saw at Flock, at Rhinebeck. I'm looking forward to meeting people. If you happen to watch this, and you're going and you see me, this sounds so ridiculous to say, but if you want to say hi, I would love that. And if I seem like I'm grumpy, it's because I'm in pain. But I will try my hardest to not let that affect my enjoyment of the weekend, because it is one of the best weekends of the year. All right. I've been talking for 45 minutes out here on this deck. I think I'm going to go watch some knitting podcasts and work on my, finish the sock and then work on my big cozy Cardi. It's our last night here, so we're going to do a big fire before we have to leave tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Please, click like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Tell your friends, share, subscribe. I already said that. I'm so bad at this. Thank you for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm loving doing this. I've already met a few people because of it, and that's the best part. So thanks for watching. I'll see you hopefully less than a month from now. Bye.